In 2020 Daily Trail Markers, Joe Biden is continuing his No Malarkey bus tour across Iowa, with a little more than 2 months until the Iowa caucuses. During 3 campaign stops on Monday, the former vice president discussed rural issues. And despite trailing in recent polls, Biden says he's feeling positive about his campaign in the state.
How's the tour going so far?
I feel good about it. The crowd's been good. People have been excited, and I think things are moving well.
Do you feel like these rural communities are the key to winning Iowa?
Well, no, I don't. I think they're part of the key to winning Iowa. You know, democracy starts in Iowa, man, and but it really does. They're sort of the, you know, at the gate here, and I think it's important that, at least from my experience, that you show up where you can. We had planned to do this for a long time. And now that Iowans are really beginning to make up their minds and beginning to focus after Thanksgiving, I think it's really important.
Let's bring in CBS News 2020 campaign reporter Adam Brewster. He is in Des Moines, Iowa. All right, Adam, recent polls show the former vice president struggling in Iowa. What is his message to voters in the final months before the caucuses?
Well, 9 weeks to go until caucus night, 9 weeks from tonight, Elaine, and former Vice President Biden is in the middle of his 8-day, 18-county bus tour through Iowa. One of the messages the campaign has said that they've wanted to hit all along and that they're going to continue to hit, of course, is his electability argument. A Des Moines Register poll from last month showed 63% of likely caucus goers care more about finding someone who can beat President Trump than necessarily someone who aligns with all of their policy positions. And 52% of people said they had at least confidence that Biden could beat Trump. He was the only one polled who got more than 50% of that. We've also heard him talking a lot more about rural issues. He's going through some more rural areas in this 18-county tour that he's doing. That's, you know, expected to continue to be part of his message. He rolled out that rural plan earlier back in July over the summer, and he's really focused on it these past few days, creating economic opportunities in rural America and making rural America part of the solution on climate change, something we've heard a few candidates talk about and something that he has really started to hit, and we can expect to see him continue to hit in these next 9 weeks.
Well, Senator Elizabeth Warren has also seen a drop in the polls. Is that forcing her campaign to change its strategy?
We've seen Senator Warren actually a bit more in Iowa. She's made 4 trips to Iowa since the beginning of November. She's wrapping up that 4th trip tonight here in Iowa. She got on the ground early and built out a big staff and has one of the largest office operations in the state. You know, we've seen the past couple of nights, she's actually kind of altered her playbook a little bit, at least on the stump. She normally, for months and months and months, has run this very similar events where she gives her stump speech 35 to 40 minutes, takes 3 questions, takes selfies, and goes on to the next one. And the past couple of nights, she has been giving a short, abridged version of her stump, allowing more time for questions. Our colleague, Zach Hudak, who covers Senator Warren, said it allowed for more time for her to show off some of her policy prowess in other areas that she doesn't always get to hit. And it provides some opportunities for her to have some more human moments as well. She's gone up on TV a bit more in Iowa recently. You've started to see her ads here in the state. They have, a long way to go. They've seen a bit of a dip in the polls, a change from when she had steadily risen over the spring, in the summer, and into the early fall.
Well, we know that Warren has faced criticism from other 2020 Democratic hopefuls over her Medicare for All policy proposal. What are voters in Iowa telling you about that plan?
Interestingly, Elaine, to get back to the Des Moines Register poll from November, 68% of Warren supporters said they were supporting Medicare for All in a sense that it was a fully government-run, eliminate private insurance plan, which means about a third of her supporters don't necessarily agree with that, according to that Des Moines Register poll. We've run into some who have said that they like some of her other policies and how she talks about education and some of the other things, and they can kind of look past the Medicare for All thing. It might not be their first preference, but they can maybe come to live with it. We've also met, some people who have said they don't support her simply because of her stance on eliminating private insurance. The private insurance industry has a footprint here in Iowa. 36% of likely caucus goers in that Register poll said they want a fully government-run Medicare for All, eliminate private insurance system. 34% said they want a public option, and 20% said they want to kind of bolster the Affordable Care Act. So more people, support options that aren't necessarily that fully government-run, eliminate private insurance plan. But there are some people who still support her, despite her taking that position.
Interesting to hear about that nuanced view. Meantime, Senator Kamala Harris said that she is all in Iowa, despite sagging poll numbers. How is she trying to close the gap in the polls in these final months?
She has really tried to blanket Iowa since the campaign back in September announced that they were going to be spending a lot of time here. And she, has joked that she virtually moved to Iowa. She's made 9 trips and spent 29 days in the state since campaigning in the state since they made that transition change. And, one of the things that we haven't necessarily seen it translate in the polls, but they're trying to get her in smaller settings, in smaller house party type environments, seeing if that can help her, bolster some support. The campaign announced today that later this month, one of her top surrogates, California Governor Gavin Newsom, will be coming to Iowa to campaign for Senator Harris. And that's a reminder that not just Senator Harris, but the other senators in the race, if there's an impeachment trial, they could have to send surrogates here a lot in January. If there's an impeachment trial in January, in the weeks leading up to the caucuses, it'll be interesting to see how Governor Newsom is received when he comes to Iowa.
Yeah, it'll be a complicated dynamic here if that unfolds. Finally, Senator Amy Klobuchar is attempting to visit all 99 counties in the Hawkeye state. What more are you hearing, Adam, from voters about her campaign?
She's about 2/3 of the way to that 99 county goal. Former Maryland Congressman John Delaney has hit the 99 counties once and is on his way of trying to do it a second time. Of course, he's been running for president since 2017. But when you talk to a lot of people, they like her moderate, pragmatic message, especially when you get into the northern Iowa areas. I was with her last week when one woman referred to Senator Klobuchar as her adopted senator. They were so close to the Minnesota border. And of course, right now there are 2 Republican senators in Iowa. So Iowa Democrats, are looking for someone who that they can look up to there. But some of the people who say they support her had said they were looking at someone like Vice President Biden. I met a woman last week who said she's just concerned about Vice President Biden's age, so she's planning to support Senator Klobuchar. I met someone else a couple of weeks ago who said that he was planning to support Senator Klobuchar over Senator Biden because of her connections to the Midwest. She is resonating here in Iowa, certainly with moderate candidates, especially some people who are looking for a younger person, a more Midwestern, and maybe has a little bit more experience.
All right, Adam Brewster. Adam, T-minus 9 weeks and counting. Thanks so
That's
much,
right.
Adam. Take care.